Shalom Lekulam, I hope you're well. I'd like to welcome everybody back to the classroom here. Very excited to be beginning our final portion of the Yarash digital subscription, Module 1 Pasuk Analysis section. I've entitled this section Jewish Hermeneutics, Mining the Peshat. So I know these are some long words. Hermeneutics, very long word. Very few people know what hermeneutics means. That's simply a fancy word for the art of interpreting something. We're seeking to interpret, to translate the Hebrew text and interpret what does it mean. And that's one of the big reasons people take biblical Hebrew. They want to know what the text means. And then from where what the text means, we can then work on applying the text to our lives. The Jewish hermeneutics, mining the Peshat. We're going to begin here at Genesis chapter 12, verse 12. Let's turn to a placard that I have created, which is going to give a working definition for Peshat. Peshat is a Hebrew word and represents one of four different levels of Jewish interpretation of Hebrew text. And so let's read this together. It says, Peshat is most often defined as straight in reference to its tendency to describe the meaning of the text apparent at face value, taking into account idiomatic expressions, focusing mostly on literal interpretation. So we're not going to involve ourselves with symbolic interpretation or esoteric hidden meanings in the text, gematria, what are the numerical values of certain letters and words, and how do those correspond and relate truth back to us in certain ways. So this is actually the safest level of Jewish interpretation, is the plain sense of the text. And as a former professor once taught me, if the plain sense makes good sense, seek no other sense. And it's certainly not wrong to investigate Jewish interpretive methods just to understand what they are, how are they different from one another, and to weigh in our own mind, is there truth, is there validity behind each of these methods? And I think there is some validity, but that's not really the nature of this particular part of the course. I'd like to go from this working definition of Peshat, because we will be mining the Peshat. So digging, mining, digging up the translation and then the actual meaning or interpretation of each of these psukim, and finally ending up at Genesis chapter 20 with the grand finale, the last lesson of Pasuk Analysis Module 1. I'm going to take the time to print out your practice verse, if not already done so. I've taken the time here to splice this one up into Masoretic puzzle segments to make it a little bit easier. And go ahead and try to read this with me, practice our reading skills. Every day is a good day to practice reading skills, by the way. It's never out of style, it's never inappropriate. Let's read this together. Vayhi ki yeru otach hamitzrim va'amru ishto zot v'hargu oti va'otach yachayu. Let's try reading this together. V'haya ki yeru otach hamitzrim va'amru ishto zot v'hargu oti va'otach yachayu. Let's try it again a little faster. V'haya ki yeru otach hamitzrim va'amru ishto zot v'hargu oti va'otach yachayu. Okay, great job. Let's jump on over to our answer key. And it's best, instead of doing this at a micro pace, I'm going to prepare the layouts ahead of time where I've marked up the board with some points of grammar, certain abbreviations. I'll explain what those mean, and then we'll go ahead and focus on bringing out any meanings. Now, understand, not every pasuk is going to have deep hidden meanings or deep meanings in the Hebrew that are not necessarily reflected in your English literal translations. We're pretty much going to soak this for what it's worth. So I've taken the time to indicate with the green V the verbal forms that are represented. So we have the word v'haya, that's the Hebrew word to be, and it was, Another verb here. The hey has dropped off, kind of obscuring the three-lettered root. Ra'ah is the Hebrew verb to see. And then we have pronouns. This would be third person masculine, plural, imperfect, meaning they will see. So the key, it could be translated oftentimes as for, but it's more appropriate to translate it as when. This prefix vav here reverses the tense. So the Hebrew verb to be would normally be translated he was or it was. And with the vav reversive, it would be translated and it will be, future tense or imperfect action. And it will be, and then the key we're going to translate as the word when. It will, because the context demands it or requires it. And it will be when yehu, when they see otach, when they see you. We have the word et, aleph, tav, which is the marker of the direct object. Oftentimes, this can appear with pronouns, pronominal suffixes added onto the tail end of the et. That's exactly what we have here. So the vowel changes slightly. So it's otach, but the et in and of itself has no translational value. So you can pretty much ignore that. And this just simply means you. And it's a feminine you. You have to remember back to our last pasuk that Avram was having a discussion with Sarai, his wife, saying, "You're very beautiful in appearance." He's concerned. He's going to a strange land, and he's afraid that they're going to kill him, and they're going to steal and acquire his wife as property or as an additional wife, and become part of the Pharaoh's harem, etc., etc. So let's move on to the next word. Next word is hamitzrim. It sounds very close to Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is the Hebrew word for Egypt. Hamitzrayim means the Egyptians. And this word, the Egyptians, corresponds back to the verb. The verb is they will see, and then it's going to tell you who the they is. The they is a reference to the Egyptians. The Egyptians will see you. Okay, next line. Va'amru. So amru would mean simply they said. This is a vav reversive, reverses the tenses. And they will say, so after seeing Sarai, the Egyptians will say, Avram's playing out a scenario in his mind, which is actually quite believable. It's quite possible that this could have happened. And so he's afraid, and he's just probably laying awake at night, kvetching, wondering, what am I going to do? So what he's going to do, he's going to come up with a plan to keep this from happening. And he is laying out the plan to his beloved wife, this pasuk. So they will say, so the word order is somewhat scrambled from what it would be in English. They'll say, zot means this. They'll say, this is ishto, his wife. This is his wife. You probably recognize the word ishto. We saw it in the last pasuk. Isha with aleph, shin, hey is the root. It's a singular noun meaning wife. This happens to have a possessive suffix on the ends, holam malay, which says oh, but it actually means his, ishto, his wife. The Egyptians will say, this is his wife, pointing to Aram. Next segment, vahargu, very strong word in the Hebrew language. Harag is to kill someone. Katal also means to kill, so there's various synonyms to kill, to smite people. So this is one of them. So we're going to say va hargu. So that word face value, harag is to kill. Hargu means they killed. Past tense, incompleted action, and then we've got a vav reversive again. So it reverses the tenses. It means and they will kill. OT, the cholam haser dot is missing. It's been obscured by this independent pronoun tag. So we talked about independent personal pronouns. This is the pronoun for me, an objective case pronoun. OT, vahargu OT, they will kill me. Continuing on to the last line, otach yachayu. We have another use of the marker of the direct object. We call the et, untranslatable et. They're going to kill me and otach, you. This is the second person feminine singular pronominal suffix, reference to Sarai herself. You're going to kill me and you, yechayu. You may recognize the root of this word. Very famous word in Jewish tradition and faith is chai. Chai means life. So this carries the meaning, the prefix yud and the shurek at the end is the imperfect personal pronoun, meaning they will do something in the future. So it's not they will live. It really has the sense of they will let live. But you, they'll let live. So they're going to kill me, but they're going to let you live because you're so beautiful and they want you. So that's the sense of it. All right, so we're going to wrap things up here. You'll notice these lessons will be a lot shorter. They're not going to drag, on for 20, 25, 30 minutes. That's actually a good thing. So you could just enjoy the fruit of your labors and also enjoy the fact that I'm going to be reminding you of a lot of the principles, the rules, the things that we have covered in this course, taking it all together, bringing everything to bear upon one pasuk at a time and drawing out the pashat, the plain, simple meaning of the verse. All right, signing off from the Galut. Ani David, Lahitraot, Shalom, Shalom. We'll see you soon. Bye now.